Hi, my name is Nicole Daniels, and I am a BSN student nurse at Indiana State University. Today's health promotion is on COVID-19 safety for school-age children, and the population at risk that we are targeting are school-age children and the parents of school-age children. Before we begin, go ahead and take the pre-test that is located in the link below to test your knowledge. And then repeat that again at the end of the presentation to see how much knowledge you have gained. Our objectives for today are to define COVID-19, to describe the transmission potential related to children, to list the signs and symptoms of COVID-19, to recognize how COVID-19 is spread within the community, and to describe ways to protect yourself and your family. So let's start by talking about COVID-19 and describing what COVID-19 is. Probably heard a lot about it. COVID-19 is a germ or a bug that you can pick up. It's a virus that affects the lungs, and it has been spreading throughout the world since the end of 2019. So while this virus does not affect children usually as badly as it does adults, it still can infect children and can be spread to adults as well. Looking at CDC data in August of 2020, 9.1% of cases that were reported throughout the US are children. Approximately 8 out of 100,000 do end up requiring hospitalization. So this can have the potential to make children very sick as well. While this virus usually doesn't affect children as severely, like I mentioned, children can have the virus and have no symptoms at all. And when this happens, the adults that they come into contact with can be exposed and they themselves can get sick instead. Older adults like our grandparents, this can be especially dangerous as they can get very, very sick and have some very severe symptoms. Children who attend school or daycares are of particular concern. So some of the things that we look for that might indicate that you have COVID-19 sickness in children or adults could be a cough, fever, chills, somebody that's having a hard time breathing, their body might hurt, their throat might be sore, sudden loss of taste or smell. They might have some stomach issues happening like diarrhea, or they might be throwing up. Their head might hurt, they might be feeling very, very tired, and they could have a runny nose. So it's important that we discuss how COVID-19 is spread, because it's important that as children, you understand how you could get sick or how you could give this sickness to somebody you love. So COVID-19 is spread because germs travel in the air when somebody coughs, sneezes, sings, or speaks. So if they talk, cough, sneeze in the air, they could have little droplets of spit that kind of float into the air with germs living in them. Then somebody could breathe that in, and then they could get sick. Also, germs attach to our hands when we're touching different objects or different surfaces, or even if we sneeze or cough on our hands. So how do we keep ourselves safe? Socially distancing, and that's going to be maintaining 6 feet between ourselves and others. Wearing a mask to cover our mouth and nose. Washing our hands, especially after using the bathroom, but even when we're touching different objects or surfaces, and also before we eat. We want to make sure that if we do have to cough or we have to sneeze, that we cover our cough or sneeze. And you should do that by coughing into your elbow. Don't touch your face. Your hands, like I mentioned, can have all sorts of germs living on them. So we want to keep our hands away from our face. Wipe down surfaces that get touched often, because with our hands being dirty and we're touching things, those surfaces can then get dirty as well. Social distancing. So what is this exactly and why? When someone coughs, sneezes, speaks, or sings, like we talked about earlier, those germs that travel, they can travel up to 6 feet. But we do not know how long that they might stay in the air either. We want to make sure that we're maintaining a good distance between ourselves in public places in particular, so that we decrease the risk of us breathing those germs in that could harm our bodies. Washing your hands. So there's 5 steps to washing your hands. You want to wet your hands, then lather with the soap, rubbing all areas of your hands. So the backs of your hands, the fronts of your hands, between your fingers, and also under your nails are big important areas. And then we want to scrub for 20 seconds, which usually is about the same as singing the happy birthday song. That's easy to remember. Rinse your hands completely, and then dry your hands with a paper towel, or if an air dryer is available, you can as well. If you don't have access to soap and water, no problem, use hand sanitizer, at least with 60% alcohol. That can be used instead, but just make sure that, again, you rub all those areas on your hands and rub until they're completely dry. How do we wash our hands, or why do we wash our hands, rather? We want to wash our hands to get rid of all those germs that we picked up from touching different objects or surfaces, like we mentioned earlier. And if we wash our hands, we get rid of most of those germs so they can't get into our bodies, and so that we can't spread those germs to others as well. So there's a good information at the CDC I'll present at the end as well that you can check out in regards to that. Wearing a mask. I know that they're pesky and we're still getting used to wearing them, but masks are important. They help to keep our own germs to ourselves. They help to prevent us from breathing in the germs others could have also, but mainly we're going to keep the own germs that we have to ourselves. If you're under the age of 2, you don't need to necessarily wear a mask, and you definitely shouldn't wear a mask if you have trouble breathing. Here's some of the wrong and right ways to wear a mask. So up top in this picture, you can see that the masks are fully covering the mouth and nose. That's the right way to wear a mask. Masks should not expose your nose. They should not be pushed down below your chin or up on your forehead. And you definitely should not be touching the mask. When we have to take our mask off, it should be when we have access to wash our hands, and only by touching the ear loops. Once you remove the mask, then you want to make sure to wash your hands right away. Disinfecting surfaces. Why is this important? Because germs can live on surfaces for sometimes hours or even days. As a family, we want to get into a routine of disinfecting different areas frequently, like tables, doorknobs, light switches, handles, toilets, faucets, even your phone or your electronic devices. Household cleaners such as bleach wipes or Lysol and Clorox can be effective disinfectants that we can use. Parents, just some tips for you. In a study that was reviewed for this presentation today, children tend to follow the behaviors that they see their parents doing. They mimic those behaviors, but they might not have a true understanding of the why they're having to wear a mask or wash their hands or socially distancing, because it's all so different, which can cause fear or even a lack of compliance for these different protocols. So for you, the big important thing is to try to make this a habit in your household, but also have conversations and have them often, letting your kids know why we're doing the things we are, but also letting them know that it's okay and that these things are keeping us safe. Here are some resources about the different information that we went over today. The Johns Hopkins website has some good educational resource information. CDC has some great board games and other activities that can make safety with COVID-19 fun for the kids. There's also information for cleaning and disinfecting the household, guidance on wearing masks, and then some good resources and videos regarding hand washing that might be good for the kids. All right, so like I said, make sure you take a look at the handout that's provided in the link below, and then complete the test again after the presentation so you can see what knowledge that you're walking away with after today.